Hey, good morning. So, welcome to Woodland Chapel this morning. And how do you say that, Dawn? The best, never mind. He'll be up here next week, and then you can hear it. So I'm so glad to see you this morning. It's a beautiful day, so I'm very delighted that you chose to be here with us this morning. And for anyone who is with us online, welcome, welcome. So I have a few announcements. And now I don't typically do a lot of announcements, so you can listen to me for the next 5 minutes, or you can take this home and, keep it and read it, and then all week long what's going on. But I just want to remind you to stay after, not stay after, you probably want to go get some lunch, and come back. We have a 1 o'clock workshop, which I'm not going to tell you a whole lot about because our speaker, Reverend Ruth, will be doing the workshop, and I'll tell you a little bit about her in a little while. So, let's see if there's something that we absolutely need to talk about that you can't read. And so, one thing I always want to emphasize is prayer. And you guys, I know that it works, and I know that our form of prayer, and it's not like there's a right way or wrong way to pray, but what we teach in New Thought, when I finally got it deep down, is so powerful. And it's just so powerful, that's all I can say. And it truly, truly works. And we have some wonderful prayer practitioners here. So there's a prayer form in front of you and a prayer box in the library that you can drop that confidential prayer request in that is not shared with anyone. You can leave your name or not leave your name. I think Spirit knows who you are. So, all right. And this morning, we have Jeff and Rebecca with us. So, yeah. So glad to have them. They bring a lot of energy. So is this a stand-up song?
No, absolutely. It's a stand-up song.
All right, let's stand up and welcome the morning together.
And welcome each other. Here we go. I see the light in you, and I see that light in me. I see the light in you, yes, I see that light in me. Namaste, 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 namaste. How about some love? I see the love in you. Oh, I see that love in me. I see the love in you. Yes, I see that love in me. Namaste, 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 namaste. How about some joy? I see the joy in you. Oh, I see that joy in me. I see the joy in you. Yeah, I see that joy in me. Namaste, 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 namaste. Have a little beauty. Oh, I see that beauty in you. Yeah, I see that beauty in me. Oh, I see the beauty in you. Oh, I see that beauty in me. Namaste, 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 namaste. Let's take it out. I see the light, I feel the love, I know the place where all are one again. I see the light, I feel the love. I know the place where all are one. I see your light, I feel your love. I know that you and I are one. Oh, I see your light, I feel your love. I know that you and I are one. Oh, namaste, namaste, namaste. Oh, namaste, namaste, namaste. One more. Namaste, 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 namaste. We'll just take it down a little bit as we move into the opening prayer. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in. Get ready, my soul. I'm diving in to the deepest kind of love, to the sweetest kind of life. Get ready, my soul. Get ready, my soul.
Good morning. I invite you to join me as I turn within and get ready, my soul, and look within, knowing that the one, known by many names, Spirit, the I Am, the higher power, the God, breathes through each one of us today as we celebrate this moment in time, and knowing that everything that needs to be told will be told today, will be heard today, will be celebrated today, and great transformation will occur. Knowing that the service is unfolding perfectly as it is meant to be, a gathering of like-minded people here to love and rejoice. I am eternally grateful for my place in this environment, in this place, in this prayer. I'm grateful for the manifestation of transformation that we all want to feel. With that gratitude in my heart, I release this prayer into the law, knowing it is done as spoken, through grace, perfectly, and so much more. Please join me in saying, and so it is. Now you have the first of many affirmations today in your program. Please join me. When I listen to my inner voice, I become open to transformation. My awareness expands, opening me, my life, to greater possibilities. And so it is.
Good morning. Pierre Pradvernand wrote in his book, The Gentle Art of Blessing, "To bless all without distinction is the ultimate form of giving, because those you bless will never know from whence came the sudden ray that burst through the clouds of their skies." And on the subject of blessings, Ernest Holm had this to say: "I express the spirit within so that only love and confidence go out to everyone I meet, blessing everything I touch and bringing peace and comfort and joy to my world." The author of today's piece writes, "Blessings are powerful, transformative gifts that we can offer to others anytime, anywhere. When given generously from the heart of love, they shine the light of comfort on the receiver. Imagine beautiful light extending from your heart to theirs, lightening their load, lifting their burdens, providing strength, healing, and peace. Every time you bless someone, you send them a beam of love. They feel lifted. You feel lifted. You can use the art of blessing others as a spiritual practice throughout the day. Try it in all circumstances, sending blessings to loved ones and strangers alike, in situations of ease and in ones of challenge. This takes on a sweet momentum when you get into the flow of the practice. Every single time you send out a blessing, you connect to your spiritual power, invoking grace from your highest self and the source of all blessings. In his collection, To Bless the Space Between Us, the Irish poet and author John O'Donoghue writes, "When you bless another, you first gather yourself. You reach below your surface mind and personality down into the deeper source within you, namely the soul." Let's use the art of blessing others as a voice of peace, beaming love to all who are in the midst of deep challenges, to all those who are exhausted, isolated, sick, grieving, anxious, fearful. We can't solve the world's problems today, but we can offer the inexhaustible power of blessings and lift the world with the light of our love. And of course, we have a bonus affirmation today, and it goes like this: I bless all who cross my path with a heart of generosity and pure love. Blessing others brings me joy, and blessings to all of you.
would you do if you knew you could only succeed? If you knew that your heart and your thoughts are holding the keys that open the doors that lead to those things we call our hopes and our dreams, what would you do if you knew you were already free? And what would we do if we let go of wrong and right? If we all stop believing that we've got to struggle through life, that all are entitled and we each receive exactly what we thought we'd see, so what would we be if we knew we can be anything? Would we sail across the sea, paint a picture, weave a tapestry, write a book about magic and living our dreams, or make honey with the bees? We can open our minds and see there are limitless possibilities. We can fly, we can soar, just be still or roar. Just imagine all that can be. And what would we do if we knew just how special we are? That we're all meant to shine this light of ours just like a star. The peace, joy, and love we all seek at some time are here in our hearts and our minds. So let's believe that it's true. The power is in me and you. Let's know that it's true. There's no limit to what we can do. So let's sail across the seas, write a novel, travel the world planting trees, or just find us a place where our hearts know we're free, like the carefree honeybees. Let us open our minds and see all the limitless possibilities. As we fly and we soar, just be still or roar, and imagine all that can be. Believing in dreams, they're more than they seem, they're destined to be, and we are their wings.
Wow. Thank you, John, and thank you, Rebecca and Jeff, for just allowing us to have this experience this morning with the energy of music and the energy of all of us coming together. And I get the privilege this morning of introducing our speaker. And, gosh, there's so much to tell her about her, but I'll just see if I can make this short. She, focuses on integrating what we understand about consciousness and culture, or what we may not understand about consciousness and culture, and she will let us know about consciousness and culture is kind of the way I look at it. And so Ruth is a student of New Thought history, and I have used her book on the history of New Thought in teaching a history of New Thought because it's very readable and within our scope of attention span too, which those big long tomes don't seem to work for us anymore. So Ruth, she just does so much so well, and I've had the privilege of the last year of getting to know some of the other aspects of her at Unity of Beaverton. And she's amazing in so many ways and can do so many things. I had to ask her one time, what's your PhD in? And she said, systems and cybernetics, and a doctor of divinity. And I'm like, okay, I couldn't do that. And she served in a lot of churches as an independent New Thought minister, so I felt really, really privileged to have her here today. And one of the things, and I invite you to step out into the library after the service, because you're going to go down and have coffee anyway. So look on the table in the library, all the books she has written. It's like, since I've watched her do other things, I'm like, where do you find the time to do that? But anyway, it's impressive, and I'm impressed with Dr. Ruth. That's why I feel so glad that she said yes to come here. And she's currently serving as co-minister at the Unity of Beaverton. So we are very fortunate to get her attention for today. So, Ruth.
Thank you, dear. That is lovely. All right. Well, she gave me the option of having a roaming mic. Are you guys okay if I roam a bit? All right. I love that. Very good. Well, I've heard about this place for 30 years, and this is the first time I've been here, and wow, you have a lovely, lovely church home. I'm delighted that you get to be here and experience the beauty, and oh my goodness, my dear, it's beautiful, wonderful. Wonderful music. Oh, very nice indeed. I like your library. Yeah. So, when we come into September and the fall equinox, there is this thing that happens around us, but it seems to be happening in us too. There's that, everything's changing. What is this? I went to school for 32 years, so I know what it is. That idea of, it's time to get ready for classes again. Well, and then I taught for 10 years. I mean, really? But as we play with how the body and the world are interacting, we get to do these cycles of change, where this growing and then this pulling back, and then this expanding, and then this releasing, and then this creating, and then just floating on the experience. But that's just change. And change is not transformation. As anyone that's been in 12 steps know, you can't just move the chairs around on the Titanic. That's change. You have to transform in order to become who we truly are. Now, there are a couple of people in this audience who have heard me speak far too many times, and I'm very honored that they chose to be here today. And one of the things that they've heard me say many, many times is that we have grown up in a culture that has accustomed us to being in a fear and control world. Lots of fear that is responded to with lots of control. And in fact, what's going on in the political arena right now is that issue being brought very much into our awareness, yes? We can't ignore it anymore. We did get to do that for a few decades. Right after World War II, the only fear was those guys over there, right? But somehow in the last 20, 30 years, we haven't been. Well, that somehow is because there are these cycles, these larger cycles, besides the seasons and besides our internal cycles, there are larger cycles of humanity's development. And one way we can think about what's happening right now is that humanity overall has been moving for quite a while in this cycle. Do I need to step back? In this cycle of this fear and control stuff since about 3200 BC. Well, some books say, and the Mayans say 3115 BC, in case you need to know. Anyway, since about then, there has been this thing that I call empire culture. That is, some guy gets up on top and he says, I'm related to God and you do what I say. Right? But the interesting thing is he couldn't do that if he wasn't attached to the woman who says, I am the spokesperson for the goddess, and he has to work with me. And you can see that. We see it very visibly among the pharaohs in Egypt, but it's less visible and absolutely is present among the emperors of Rome. Every one of them. Julius Caesar could not become the dictator of Rome until he had become the head priest in the temple of Jupiter and married the head priestess in the Demeter chapel, in the priestesses of the mother. Demeter, God mother. Mater. So we can play with all kinds of things as we go along. That there is this notion that's been in place since about 33,000 BC, that there is someone in charge. And one of my dreams, as we go through this process of humanity saying, I'm not doing that anymore, is that my children's, or maybe my grandchildren's grandchildren, will never hear the phrase, who's in charge here? Because we all are. That divinity, that source, that beauty, that power, that wisdom is flowing each and through every one of us. Yes? Yes. That's what we teach in New Thought. That's why I do New Thought. That's why I do all the things I do, including writing these books, because it is available to all of us, but we all have our own unique way of experiencing and expressing that wisdom that is flowing through us. And that experience and that expression, that mixture of experiences and expressions is what makes humanity this incredibly wonderful, complicated, complex system that Emerson called the Oversoul. Right? That Rupert Sheldrake calls morphogenic fields, yes? And that more and more materialist scientists who have been trained to say if it isn't physical and I can't measure it, it isn't real, are going, oh, well, gee, electricity, I can't, gravity, I can't, oh, what is this intelligence that's everywhere in the world? Oh, what are these, what? They really are. And so what's emerging among the physicists and some of the biologists and biochemists is, oh my goodness, there is an intelligence everywhere in everything through the quantum field. It's everywhere. And they're becoming something called panpsychists. Panpsychists. Mind everywhere. Yes? Panpsychists. Now, 30 years ago, a few physicists were saying it's actually panentheism. Panentheism. Mind of God in everything. Have I ever heard that anywhere? Well, Ernest Holmes started teaching that in 1927, didn't he? And he learned it over the years between 1917 and 27 when he and his brother were exploring all kinds of things. He and his brother Fenwick. In 1916, Ernest Holmes, who grew up in a rural Maine household with two books. One of them was the Bible, and the other one was a book by a geologist who was a Moody Bible evangelist in the 1850s, which I cannot even imagine how he managed to blend it together, but I wrote one of his books, so edited one of his books into a new book. That's a better way to say it. His name was Henry Drummond. So Holmes grew up with two books. The book called Natural Law in the Spiritual World by the natural science professor, and the Bible. So he realizes as he's going through the one-room schoolhouse that everyone's in the rural Maine culture is growing up in, where they have learned geometry by 8th grade. Yes, they're working with trigonometry in the 8th grade. They've studied some Latin and another language before the 8th grade. Whole different world, I got to tell you. Anyway, he gets to be 16. He's been helping out in the one-room schoolhouse. He's, working, living in this family of brothers. And he goes off to Boston. He saved up enough money, and he goes to elocution school because he wants to teach people this understanding, yeah? So this little story is all woven into the book that she's talking about, the history of the New Thought teachers. I have a couple copies out there. But my point is, he got it as he arrived in Boston. The best speakers in the city of Boston were the transcendentalists in the 1880s and the Christian Scientists in the 1890s. And so he began to understand, there's this weirdness called Christian Science. And it's straight out of the Bible, but it's a whole different approach from what the wandering, Helen, whatever you call it, preachers would go through and speak on a Sunday morning in his little town in Maine. So he got that there was this thing that could happen, and he heard all the testimonies, because on Wednesday evening in every Christian Science church, you get to hear the testimonies. And when I was in seminary, that was one of the things we were required to do, was go and hang out in a Christian Science church on a Wednesday evening. So he's hearing these testimonies of these people who, couldn't get up and now they're walking around, or any number of things. They range from cuts healing to cancer gone. And he realized there was something there. So he started interviewing every single practitioner he ever met. Ernest Holmes became an investigative journalist while his brother was going to seminary to become a congregational minister. So when his brother graduated and he graduated, they went off to Venice, California, and they began to try to apply some of these principles. At one point, they actually had a nursing home, a Christian Science-style nursing home in Long Beach. I know the building because I was living there when I was a Navy wife. So anyway, that whole thing unfolds, and he becomes the embodiment of these teachings as well as he can. But he's still interviewing. And in 1918, he goes to this meeting, and in this meeting, he listens to all these women who are all these practitioners that are doing incredible things. And he realizes the one who taught them all was right there, and she wouldn't give him an interview. And that was Emma Curtis Hopkins. But in 1925, he returned to the East Coast, and Emma had retired from her teaching position. And this time, 1924, October of 1924, she agreed to give him an interview. At the end of 12 more meetings, a total of 12 meetings, he realized he'd gotten the whole course, and he called his brother, which he could do by 1924, pick up a telephone and call someone, and he said, I need to use the title of that book you wrote a couple years ago. Are you okay if I do that? And Fenwick said, of course, because they still worked together. And so Ernest sat down and wrote all the things that he had learned in a little tiny book, only about 120 pages, called The Science of Mind. For a while I had a first edition. It was gorgeous. I shouldn't have given it away. Anyway, so what happened to this boy from Maine that he became the fundamental, foundational teacher for millions of people on how not to experience what we are trained to experience in our culture? Because that's really what we teach, isn't it? We're trained to get sick, we're trained to get hurt, we're trained to be unhappy, we're trained to be angry and fearful. That's what this culture trains us. And he said, the science of mind tells us we don't have to do that. We don't have to be stuck that way. Wow, that's pretty revolutionary. So he began to teach this. He went back to LA, got hold of some resources, created an Institute for Religious Science. And like every other of Emma Curtis Hopkins' teachers who set up all of the denominations of New Thought, he set up a school. That's all he wanted, to train us so we could live this way, right? And to give us opportunities to experience the transformation that happens when we are not in this form, but now I'm in this form. All right? The field of energy, the mind that I am, is now showing up, that was showing up this way, through transforming, shows up this way, right? Yes. So it can be instantaneous or it can take weeks. In some cases, it takes months. All that it is changing the field of mind that I am so that the body that is emerging in and through and as this being doesn't have to be what it was and can be what I intend for it to be. Isn't that the essence of science and mind? Yeah. Change our mind and change our life. But we're talking about a lot more than just those surface thoughts, aren't we? Well, anyone who's tried to just do affirmations has had discovered this, yes? Every day in every way I'm getting better and better. Oh yeah, really? I don't know. I don't see that. Every day in every way, right? Isn't that how it goes initially? And sometimes we can convince ourselves by repeating it over and over again sufficiently that for a time we get to go riding on that wave. Oh, yes, 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 this is great, this is great. The floor fell out. And that floor was our contradictory, conflicting thoughts. So the big piece of science of mind that unfortunately most of the people who have taught it have not taken into consideration was what Emma Curtis Hopkins says must be the second stage in the process, lesson 2. Negate, deny, dissolve any thought contrary to truth. So to be transformed from who I have been trained to be into who I actually am, I got to let go of all the thoughts that have been pulling me into that form. And there is the power. In that letting go of what doesn't work anymore. It may have been wonderful. It got me to be successful within the context of this empire culture, right? This fear and control. I was able to learn how to manipulate the fear and manage the control and not have it kick me and keep on going, right? Until the body or the mind or the relationships or the finances or the whatever that I had been depending on fall apart. Because it is so contrary to who and what we really are to be operating in fear and control that all of those things are likely to fall apart if we live that way. Right? And I'm guessing almost all of you have had the wake-up call at least once and may have had it 2 or 3 times that says no more fear and control. Let's feel. You know, Michael Beckwith, this is a feeling universe. Feel that love, that light that we sang about. I see it in you. Can you feel it? I know it's in you. Can you allow it to be who you are? Can you allow it to transform you from who you were trained to be successful. To be fulfilled. Oh my goodness. Can I allow that? Can I let myself feel the infinite, unending, all-powerful powerness of the love and the light and the wisdom and the beauty and the joy of well-being and fulfillment that is who I truly am. But somewhere when I was about 3 months old, I decided I couldn't be because it wasn't safe to be that in this world. Now, we have these kids that grew up in the last 40, 50 years that are called indigo kids. Yeah? Indigo kids are these kids who grew up with parents who didn't stop them from being who they really are. That's the only difference. Who said, wow, you really can see something I can't see? Rather than, oh no, that's imaginary. Right? With parents who said, wow, you can understand what Mary wants? Rather than, oh, you couldn't possibly know what she wants. Which is what most of us heard, right? No, you can't. No, it's not real. That's all imaginary, right? We were trained not to be who we really are. But the indigo kids are allowed to be who they are. They're allowed to surf the love that is on this weirdness that our culture is. And then they get to be grown-ups. And then someone says, you have to have a job. And most of them say, if you insist, but I can't imagine why. And they may get a job. They may go into retail. They may become computer programmers. They may, do any number of things that earns a salary, makes them show up at a particular place at a particular time and all of that thing until they get the wake-up call that's either something is shut down inside of them or this thing isn't working or COVID-19 that said, thou shalt not confine thyself to a desk from 9 to 5 every day. Thou shalt go home and go inside. Huge transformation, really, in how we related to each other and to the world. Not just a change. When the COVID scare, the pandemic ended, everyone was supposed to go back into the office. And they didn't. There were 11 million empty jobs at the end of the COVID that people wouldn't go back to. They had learned that their source was not the job. Their source was what they were doing and being in the world. Now, they hadn't all learned science of mind. They hadn't all learned all the tools. But there was enough out there. And the timing is really quite interesting because the movie The Secret and all the stuff that followed with it, which I actually got involved with, came out just long enough before that particular epidemic hit us that there were a lot of people who had heard about the law of attraction, whatever that is. And they realized, well, maybe I can go within rather than look out there. So now we have a whole couple of generations of people who are saying, why would I subject myself to someone else supervising me, doing something I don't do that isn't my being in the world when I don't have to? So we have digital nomads. I met a couple this last summer. They were just amazing. They figured out how to live on little enough that whatever they loved to do was sufficient for them to do. Now, they're by no means the first people to do that. When Mary Haven and Mannon Boggs got married, Mary Mannon and Haven Boggs, there we go, got married, and they had kids. She was 18. Neither of them had any credentials. They bought themselves a VW bus, and they went around the country washing windows. They were the pre-digital nomads, right? They were not the first ones, but they knew that they couldn't subject themselves to the empire culture's restrictions. They didn't allow themselves to be trained. Well, it turns out Mary Manning grew up in the building, in the church that's in the building, Unity of Beaverton. That was her family, her church's family, her family's church, whatever you want to say. Yeah, so she was like an indigo kid, right? She became Mary Manning Morrissey. They had the Living Enrichment Center, one of the first mega churches out here in the West Coast, and on and on and on, in the New Thought tradition. Many, many, many of the kids who chose at the end of the COVID-19 epidemic to not go back to work have been transformed. They are choosing to live life not how we were trained, but where our fulfillment is. Well, most of the folks in here are a little bit older than most of the folks in that generation. But there's a reason we're on the planet today. We're on the planet today because when we came into this body, we said, I am going to be part of the transformation of humanity and the dissolution of a culture of fear and control. And I'm going to undo in me, this is where lesson 2 of New Thought comes in, I'm going to undo in me any idea that leads me to think that a life of fear and control is either possible, even possible, much less something I would choose. I'm going to undo all of those beliefs, and I'm going to replace them with the kind of thing we affirmed today in both affirmations. Yes? I'm going to replace those negations, those dissolutions, with the affirmations of truth. The fundamental one being there is only one power, one presence. It is omnipresent, everywhere, in everything. It is omnipotent. It is the only power. There is no other power. Government has no power. Evil has no power. Sickness has no power. Death has no power. Their only power is the power of life, love, beauty, joy. That's the only power. It is all power everywhere. And it is omniscient. That is, there is nothing in all of space and time that is not available to me in the way of facts, ideas, wisdom, or knowledge. That's the foundation principle of what we're teaching. And if I can understand that and live that, and every time some other idea comes up and says, oh yeah, try walking into a police station and blah, 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 right? I'm going to, if it is mine to do, and I'm guided by Spirit to do it, I'm going to do it. No, it's never been mine to do, thank heaven. But that's not who I am. That's not what I'm here to do. Right? I'm here to facilitate everyone else getting this understanding while I clean it up in me. Because the more I clean it up in me, the clearer the message is coming through, right? There's no conflicting energy when that happens. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. So that's what we're here to do. We're here to ride the wave, to surf the wave of whatever is going on in this culture while it falls apart to the shore, which in the book of Revelation is called a new heaven and a new earth. In a new earth, not and a new earth. Thy will be done on earth as in heaven. Heaven and earth are here. Heaven is at hand, yes? If you do your biblical study at all. The kingdom of heaven is within. Oh my goodness. And at hand. It's right here. It's not somewhere out there. It's at hand. Can I allow my thinking to be so transformed, and my feeling to be so transformed that I could live heaven on earth. And everyone who makes that choice is, according to all that the modern sciences have been teaching us, making it easier for every other person that is part of humanity to experience heaven in this earthly existence. Are you willing? Yeah. Are you ready? Yes. Woo! I love hearing that. And you can even do it outside this building. That's what we're here about. We are here to heal the thought patterns that have led to an existence that is not who we are, so that we can be who we truly are, be fulfilled, living in heaven on earth. For so it is. Oh. Thank you.
Thank you, Ruth. Whoa, okay. Can't wait to see who we all are going to emerge as next week. Yeah.
So, do you mind another affirmation? Is that okay? Thank you. Okay. So, I'm not using the mic because you're not using the mic, and that's good with me. So the response is, I believe life's good. Simple. All right? You'll see where to inject it. I believe life's good. I believe life's good, unfolding as I knew it would. I believe life's good, releasing all this love in me. I believe life's good, abundant blessings I do see. I believe life's good. I believe life's good. I believe life's good. Aware of possibilities. I believe life's good. A life of love is the key. I believe life's good. Residing high above the fray. I believe life's good. Stepping in through heaven's gate. I believe life's good. I believe life's good. I believe life's good. Attracting all the love to me. light, adjusting what I perceive, a wealth of truth and might. I love you, Rebecca, you're awesome. My life, it flows with ease. My days are filled with grace. Divine appointments kept. Life's no longer a race. That's good, that's good. I did. I wrote that chant in 2009.
All right. Thank you. That was really great.
And
That
I
was.
think about 4 floors have fallen along between then and now.
Yeah.
But here I am.
Oh, thank you ever so much. Wow. Woo. Are we having a great day? Yes. Yes. Right. Okay, there's a time in our service for our offertory where we share from our gifts, where we give back to the whole, so that we can be here to have a place and come and be reminded, because that's what it is, isn't it? Because that intelligence is everywhere. We already know that, but we forget. We fall asleep. So we come to be reminded. And you see, there isn't really any limitation except the limitations that we place, or the limitations that we came in here to somehow experience and use as a stepping stone to a greater awareness. And in that is the flow of good. And so to the degree that each time we give here in an offertory or somewhere else, it opens up something within us, the experience of, I have not lost, I am not less. My prosperity is not less because I have given out. And those of us who do that understand that it works that way. And so, let us say together our offertory affirmation. Divine love moving in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I give, and all that I receive. Thank you, God.
There's a song you just don't want to stop singing any day now. Any day now has arrived, right at this very moment. And at this time, we just stand here in such grateful, thankful receivership of the hearts that you open up and just show how you love to be here and you love us. We can just tell. This morning is just a great example of what our heart will tell us. This is my transformation. This is how I transform the moments to be the perfect moment. I give, I receive, I complete the circle of love. So thank you for being here. Thank you for what you've given us today. And come back and see us again. And so it is.
Wow, I'm jazzed. I don't know about you guys. Whew. So let us together say the prayer of protection that just reminds us that we are not alone and that all is there for us. Yeah. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us.
The power of God protects us.
The presence of God watches over us.
Wherever we are,
God
is, and all is well now.